Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So I hope the noise is okay. I'm kind of right by a street here, but I've got camera here and camera here, so hopefully one of them's picked up the audio okay. So today's going to be a bit of a mental training style video. Not as much of a mental training session as my other videos, but more of a preparation video for tryouts and how to have a successful tryout. So I've been getting a lot of questions recently from you guys asking how to impress coaches at a tryout. So maybe you've got a tryout coming up and you just want to know how to prepare for it. A lot of you have also been asking, what should I be working on from now until the tryout? What are the coaches going to be looking for? So I want to address this point first. What coaches are looking for is really a subjective thing, and it's kind of like, you know how there's all different players, different styles, different mentalities, different people. The exact same thing is with coaches. There isn't one certain thing that every coach is looking for. And there isn't a set criteria either. It's not like if you went into a tryout as a striker and you scored 3 goals, that doesn't guarantee you a contract. And if you're a goalkeeper and you get a clean sheet, that doesn't guarantee you a contract either. Honestly, the only thing it comes down to, whether you make it or you don't, is the coach's opinion. And this is something you need to bear in mind, and something you need to kind of take with a grain of salt as well, because every coach is different. Every coach has a different opinion on what they like in a player. So if he just doesn't like you, even if you're a fantastic player, if he doesn't like you, you're not going to get signed. And that's the brutal reality. And that's something you need to remember as well. So my advice to you guys as well is, if you don't get selected for a team after attending a tryout, don't take it too personally. It's just that coach's opinion of you. So whether you agree with it or not, that's the reality. He's looking for a certain kind of player, and if you don't fit what he wants, you're not going to make the team. But that doesn't mean another coach out there isn't going to absolutely love your style of play. You might be the perfect player in another team, and you might be a bench player or not even make the squad in another team. That's just football. That's how funny it is. So it's a game of opinions. So don't be discouraged if you ever go to a tryout and it's not the news that you want to hear. So that's the first thing I want to start with, because a lot of you guys I know will get discouraged if you go to a tryout and you don't get picked. But you need to understand, even I've been to a lot of tryouts in my career and I've experienced it all. I've been to a tryout where the coaches loved me, I've got signed to the team and I ended up playing for them, and I've also been to tryouts where the coach really didn't like me whatsoever. And I've also been to tryouts where the coach has seen something in me but he's unsure, he brings me into training camp, has a better look at me, and from those situations sometimes I've been signed, sometimes he's let me go. So, and I'm still here today working hard. I know that is a game of opinions. I know some coaches are going to absolutely love my style of play. I take risks, I do fancy stuff from now and again, and I know some coaches really don't like that kind of thing. So I take it all with a grain of salt. But my advice to you is, you only want to get signed to a team where the coach wants you based on your abilities. You don't want to go to a team where the coach is just going to completely change your style of play, because the reason you play how you play is because you enjoy it. And at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying playing football, there's no point in playing it whatsoever, because then it just becomes any other ordinary job. The reason we are so passionate about being footballers is because we love this game and we love what we do and we love how we play it. So just always remember that. So that's my biggest advice to you guys, is when you go to these tryouts, you want to be playing the way you naturally play. So if you're a winger, like myself, if you're a winger that likes to dribble, that you have a lot of pace, you like to get to the end line and whip the ball in, don't show up to a tryout and start to try and guess what the coach is thinking and start thinking, oh, he probably likes me if I play simple. He wants a player that's going to play really simple. That's not going to do you justice. That's not going to show your best qualities. You're going to walk away from that tryout wishing you'd done more. And that's the worst feeling in the world, is wishing you could have done more at a tryout and feeling that resentment, that regret, knowing that you didn't do yourself justice. So make sure you're not going to do that. And at the end of the day, if you're playing your natural style of play, you're going to play that far more confidently than you would trying to play somebody else's style of play. So you're going to look more confident on the ball, you're going to look more assertive, you're going to look like you're enjoying yourself more, and you're going to give more energy to that performance because you're motivated by your own style of play and you're passionate about it, and you just feel like overall you know more what you're doing than you would trying to guess what somebody else wants you to do. It's really obvious when somebody is uncomfortable in their style of play, somebody that is maybe a simple player and they start trying to be fancy. You can tell they're unsure with their decision making and it all looks very awkward. And that's not going to do yourself well when it comes to the decision making time from the coach. So bear that in mind. So I think that's my biggest advice for you guys today. There isn't a set criteria. Obviously you need to be working hard. Work rate is everything. Okay, so as a footballer, the most frustrating and agonizing thing of being a footballer is your performances go up and down all the time. You guys know this. You guys ask me all the time, how do you get over those days where you just have a really poor game? So you might have one game where everything just seems to go right. Every touch is perfect, every pass connects, every shot's on target. Everything you do just seems to go to the best it possibly could have. And then the very next game, you can have the exact opposite game. You can mess up every pass, miss every shot, get tackled every time you try to dribble. And that's just the funny thing about football. That's something you got to accept. Form is so temporary. You can have an amazing game one day and a terrible game the next. And you can't control that, but the one thing you can always control is your work rate. So if you're having the best game in the world or the worst game in the world, you still have full control over that work rate. So if you go to one of these tryouts and let's say you're a striker, you miss 2 one-on-ones, it would be easy to get your head down, start sulking about it, start giving up and thinking, all right, this coach has already written me off. He thinks I'm a terrible striker because I've just missed 2 one-on-ones. If you think that way, you've definitely not got that contract. There's no way you're going to come back from that. But if you're a player that makes mistakes and still continues to work hard, that makes a huge impression on the coach. That shows that you're willing to fight through everything. And sometimes players get more opportunities and get further in their careers because of their work rate alone. I've seen players that aren't necessarily the most talented players in the world get higher and higher up the leagues based on their 100% work rate. You know you're going to get 100% from every game, and coaches really like that. On the flip side, I've seen very talented players that have so much ability, like top level talent, but just because they're not willing to work hard, they don't make it anyway. They still get stuck in the lower leagues and they end up fizzling out at some point. So it doesn't matter if you have the most ability on the team or the least ability on the team. If you have 100% work rate, you're always going to give yourself a good chance of being noticed by a coach. So that's my advice to you guys. It doesn't matter how things are going on the day, if you're playing really well or playing really poorly, just make sure you're giving 100% work rate, because the coach is going to see that and he's going to think to himself, all right, I can rely on this guy. Doesn't matter if we're 3-0 down or 5-0 up. This guy's going to always give me 100%, and that's always going to help the team out. So he's looking for team players. He's not just looking for an individual that is only going to work hard when things are going well and when the ball is at their feet. Do things off the ball, communicate with your teammates, and you'll have a good shot of impressing. And finally, I think the main thing is just don't go in your shell. These tryouts can be awkward. And something I always like to do, you don't need to make best friends with anyone, you don't need to share your life story, but when I first get there, I like to shake everybody's hand, just introduce myself, ask them for their name, ask them for their position. That's going to help you come out your shell a little bit. That's going to help you communicate with them on the field. And it's just going to make you a lot more confident on the day. The worst thing you can do is just be really quiet, because typically if you're quiet vocally, you're going to be quiet with the ball at your feet as well. You're not going to be demanding that ball. You want to be showing your best qualities, so you want to get on the ball as often as possible. And a couple more quick tips. I think there's a couple things that don't require any talent or any extra effort, but just little things that could make the difference between him thinking you're a good player and also him thinking you're a good character and a good team player as well. So one thing that I always like to do is be early to tryouts. Show that this is an important opportunity for you. Show them that their time is valuable to you, and that this is an opportunity that you don't want to let go to waste. The worst thing you can do is kind of show up late and show them that you're sort of don't have a good attitude about it, because honestly, if they can detect that early, they're not going to be interested in signing you. They don't want to have that in their team, because a bad attitude can be toxic amongst other players. So if you're showing that you're positive, you're keen, you're there early, you're communicating with other guys, you're just going to show that you have good character. So they're just a few little tips. Hopefully you're encouraged by this. So the main thing is just don't worry about what the coach is thinking of you, even though that sounds contradictory because you're there to impress him. The main thing is that you're confident and you're showing your best qualities when you're there. You have some certain talents. Everybody has their individual unique talents. You need to show yours. You need to show what you can do better than everybody else. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. If you do have tryouts coming soon, I just want to wish you guys the best of luck. I know it's going to go well. Let me know if you've had a tryout or you've got one coming up. I want to give you some encouragement. But thanks for watching this video. As I said, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button for weekly training videos. And as always, I will see you in the next video.